I was working my 9 to 5. I was risking my life every day working on underground electric, which was transformers, 27,000 volt transformers. That's what I did.
Yeah. And was
And
that in New York?
New York, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I worked in the 5 boroughs. So I was doing that, just miserable, risking my life. They literally
Lots of
did.
rats on the ground and all
Oh
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
we never dealt with rats because the way we always used to say it, like we were in our own coffin, right? Because it was a cement vault, right? But it was a confined space. Everywhere we went was confined, and like it literally, if that shit goes wrong, you're fucked. You can't get out. You're dead,
Dude.
right? So that's the shit I used, bro. I'll give before we get into it. I'll give one fucking hilarious story. Like I was working in Brownsville.
Yeah.
You familiar with New York?
Yeah,
or no?
yeah. I used to live in New York, East Flatbush.
All right, so there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, I used to hang
Brownsville,
out.
the
Bro,
ghetto, the ghetto.
I used to hang out in Flatbush all the time on 21st and Newkirk, 17th and Cortelia. Like that's
Yeah.
where my homies were, right?
I was like, I'm like Lyndon Nostrin.
Yeah, so you were up
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
So I was working up in Brownsville on an overnight shift, right? And we were cooling down transformers because when in the summer they get really hot, there's oil that cools them down, right? The oil that's inside of it, but when it gets too hot, it overheats. We have to flood the transformer to cool it down.
Like, would you flood it with water or?
With water, we would turn the hydrant on, bang. You would just flood this unit with water because it's all submersible, so like nothing would get damaged, but it just cools it down. Like we would bring it down from like I would say like 230 degrees down to like 90, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because 90 is the point where it goes too high and you have to cool it. And it was an overnight shift. I'll never forget. Dudes were having a fucking block party on the block in I forgot exactly where I was. So we're over there, and I'll never forget, bro. I was standing on this transformer on the top of it, that the point that my soles on my boots were melting.
Jesus.
And all of a sudden, I hear pop, pop, pop. I'm like, bro, what do I do? Where do I go? Now, bro, they're just bullets flying.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
what do I do? What do I do, bro? I had to get down on the transformer.
Oh.
It literally burned my hands and everything, my elbows, because I had no choice. And that's the shit I used to do, bro.
You working in Brownsville, bro. Like,
Brownsville's no joke.
No joke.
People don't know, homie.
Oh, Lee, that's the worst part of Brooklyn right there.
Yeah, East New York was bad too back in the day.
East New York, Brownsville, like
Bed-Stuy, do or die.
Bed-Stuy, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I remember I had I met this one girl and she lived up in Brownsville and she was like, "Oh, come see me." I said, "Oh, you crazy?"
Hell no.
I said, "You crazy? I ain't going. You ain't gonna catch me out there."
You know the way it is, though. You walk up in Brownsville, they be like, "Yo, where you from?" And then you say Flatbush. You know you're getting a fucking beat down.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
A beat down would be probably the best case scenario.
Best case scenario. I didn't want to get into it like that. Yeah. You know, that's why I was trying to keep it PG. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. But so now you're just burning up.
Yeah, like literally, I'm screaming, and there's just a hail of gunfire going on, bro.
Oh.
Our truck got hit like 5 times. My boy is literally laying down in the back of the truck, belly on the floor, and then it stopped. I guess they did like a drive-by or some shit because I didn't know, but I had to get rushed to the hospital because my hands and my everything was like burning on me, bro.
Yo, Viddy's Shotz is a G. He's a G.
I'm telling you, bro. Yeah, I mean, bro, there's so many stories with work. It's funny, like I know we're getting off track here, but it's funny because like bringing back memories. Like I was working in East New York on an overnight shift. And my dad, I'm not even gonna the crazy thing about this story is my pops 2 weeks prior actually got robbed in East New York because he used to work plumbing.
Yeah.
And they robbed his chain and everything, and they held the gun to his head and they told him, "Give me your shit." So some dude, I'm working in East New York and I'm in the hole, and my boy, he was like hella hungover. So I told him, I'd be like, "Yo, just sleep, I'll take care of everything, right?" But he's in the front and you could close the cabin, so like it's like, blocked off.
Yeah.
I get out of the hole. I see these 2 dudes in my truck robbing everything.
And he's sleep.
Young kids.
And he's sleep in the truck.
So out cold. Yeah, because he was fucked up from the night before. Right? And I'm talking about young kids, like 14, 15 years old, starting to bro, and our trucks were worth a lot of money because all the tools. And I'll never forget the most wholesome shit, bro. I think that's what changed my thinking in life a lot. Because I sat down with these 2 kids, bro, and I was just chatting it up with them. I'm like, "Why are you doing this for?"
Yeah.
I'm like, what is the reason for this? I was like, you need money, I'll give you money, you know, like, but why do you do this? And it's crazy because I'll never forget, like, one kid told me, he was like, I had no father figure, right? I only know the streets
Yeah.
and what people teach me on the streets. So I sat with that dude for, like, no joke, an hour. He was crying and everything to me.
You might have changed his life, to be honest with you.
And yeah, well, that's from that day on. Like, I had a different outlook on life, and, like, you know, always willing to help somebody.
Yeah, because a lot of these kids, you know, a lot of like even like me, like you come from nothing, like
Yeah,
you know, like you know, even in Brooklyn, you at times you turn on the tap and it's dirty water coming out.
yup.
And
Yeah, people don't know about that, bro.
people don't know about that, and then you've got the peer pressure of the streets, which is like, so it's kind of like, even sometimes they want to go the other way, but the streets are like, nah, like, oh, you pussy.
The streets always sway you another
Yeah.
way.
So
That's
now
just the way it is.
So like a lot of these kids don't have fathers, that their mothers are working 3-4 jobs.
Yup.
So they're like, all right, well, homie's doing this, or go rob this lick, or go do this. So it's hard to judge, you know what I mean? But like I said, it was good that you sat down and talked, because those type of moments can change kids' lives where they're
Yeah,
like,
because you know what it is, bro. Like, I could easily call the cops. I could have hit the kid over the head with something
Yeah.
if I wanted to, right? But you know what? I just told him, I was like, dude, stop. And then we just sat down and chopped it up, bro.
then-
Because I grew up, it was hard for me when I grew up too, bro. Like,
for sure,
that's all I
for
knew.
sure, for sure.
I had my parents, dude. But that's all I grew up was on the streets.